Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltamar and we're going to be continuing our Let's Play of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Where we left last time, we were welcomed onto the ship, we were attacked by servitors, we're kind of overlooking a place with disappearing characters. It's kind of amusing to me. Let's just glance over here really quickly. I don't know if there's anything over this way, but
follow my lead.
There is a check. I'm going to try and go this way and see what happens. Not allowed. I beg your pardon, your lordship. After the incident with the servitor, the passage is closed to everyone. I should have paused. Until the Arch-Militant says otherwise. We can also just have this window open, I guess. We can just read it there, too. A bunch of servants, crew officers.
Victory awaits!
Vox skulls just wandering around. Another crew officer blocking off that path. This looks like an interesting place. Tech priests, technomads. Some sort of thing. The massive golden structure never stops moving for a moment. A light bounces off the orbits and figures representing celestial bodies. That's pretty cool. Oh, we got pulled into a cutscene.
That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy.
Says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted within a grimace of displeasure and disbelief.
Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation. No worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad?
The tall, gray-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson. I'm here to speak with the Lord Captain.
What is this? Is this someone from your retinue, Theodora? Do you permit your people to interrupt your conversations in such a fashion?
Edelthrad turns to us and regards us with indignation.
I give that permission to those with something of substance to say. Let us see if it was worth it. This is the second candidate for the title of my successor. Step forward.
Theodora tilts her head, her lips stretch in a cold smile. The rogue trader regards you with a look that's imperious, predatory, and oppressive.
Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crew sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure?
I believe I could use my personal abilities to ascertain whether there was sorcery on Aeon 6, but it would require going down to the surface in person.
Ah, yes. Personal intervention. The surest way to leave yourself vulnerable. What say you, Edelthrad? Your brother in sorcery is not afraid to face danger. Unlike you.
Theodora absently minded touches one of her many augmetics.
A psyker's soul is a yawning gate for the ruinous powers. One could hardly trust a servant of the Imperium who is so eager to usher in corruption.
Edelthrad's gaze burns through you as he grits out every word through his teeth. Shut your mouth, Edelthrad, before I decide to shut it for you.
I invite you to try, you miserable vermin. I am intrigued to see how your pathetic life will...
You feel the temperature in the room drop. Edelthrad gives you a baleful look, his eyes narrowed.
Edelthrad, I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview.
Theodora's tone renders him silent.
I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time.
Edelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave, without sparing us another look. Rude.
So, why are you here?
Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves, then she turns to us. There are questions that I wish to have answered.
You are direct. I approve. But you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first.
Okay.
My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness, beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you are one of those with von Valancius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes.
One of. Does this mean there's other heirs?
Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitvir served me for many years before he made his mistake.
Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you?
His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valancius, even if he avoids using it publicly and, as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voitvir's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least.
If you're satisfied with Edelthrad, then what sense is there in having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me?
Impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Edelthrad as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here, in the Coronis Expanse.
Theodora shakes her head.
It says in your profile that you bear the brand of sorcery, albeit sanctioned sorcery that is permitted in the service of the Imperium. I am accustomed to the presence of psychos at my side. More than that, I value their unique abilities highly. Perhaps that is why I am so intrigued by Edelthrad's candidacy. A rogue trader psycho could achieve great things indeed. However, psychos are fragile creatures, and as such I would rather have a replacement standing ready in the event that something happens to Edelthrad. Moreover, even changing your family name will not rid you of the fame you previously garnered. I hope it will also help you bring glory to the von Valancius dynasty, to which you now belong.
Theodora chuckles slightly. Your illustrious glory made you famous far beyond the bounds of your home system. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. May I ask questions now?
I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge.
The Vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shutting off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. An incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew.
Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Gellerfield. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all.
She laughs nonchalantly.
Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff.
The gray-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval.
Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live.
Where is your ship headed?
The Rykad system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers, and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valancius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor.
Maybe.
I set the course for Rykad on the demand for a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time.
Theodora grimaces. She gives us a stern look and then shrugs. What are my current responsibilities?
Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Edelthrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide.
Navigator, translation. What are these things you speak of? Navigators navigate the warp, and translation is exiting the warp into real space.
Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars.
Theodora shakes her head.
Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Gellerfield, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars.
I have no more questions.
In that case, I shall head to... Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated.
Theodora's Vox awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Vox cast, then nods and draws her weapon. She glances at us. Here come some enemies. Now, unfortunately, we really sucked at combat for a while. We're more of a talky character, but we can do buffs pretty well.
Take a knee and bow before me.
Your
Okay.
Emperor won't save you!
I don't think we can move ourselves, so let's just start the battle. We are not up first. In fact, we are fairly
and
low
tested
on the
tactics
initiative
are the
order
best
at the
ones.
moment.
One for your
Abelard
target.
just murdered 2 people. That was amazing.
Right there.
Good job. And then
Reduce
killed
the
another one.
dust.
Abelard is just
Glory
murdering
of the
everyone.
Imperium.
So was Mort, apparently.
I bring ruin!
Out of my way!
It's almost our turn. Someone's shooting at me? Use cover to avoid attacks. Got it. I'm going to do that because I don't really feel like dying, and I kind of suck at combat. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to give her Ward of the Emperor, and also... Oh, can't do it on... Oh. I don't think there's anyone I can aim this at, then. Alright, can I shoot someone? Yeah, we might be able to kill that guy. Oh! I shot his skull out of his head. That was amazing. And I guess that's all over for her turn.
Such is the will of chaos.
He has 229 hit points. He has 252 hit points.
I serve the ruinous powers.
Yeah, it's got to be hit points. How many do you got? 43. Abelard doesn't actually have a lot of hit points.
I am your doom.
Abelard is just not taking damage.
For the Imperium.
Well, that plasma pistol
I've
just
seen
killed
worse battles than this
people.
in my time.
Those two just died. Or is it just one? Anyway, someone died.
Die!
I'm glad these guys are here because I would...
Crush
Does he have a melted gun? I think he does. We have a temporary positive... Whatever, I don't care. Let's give... Actually, let's just shoot someone. I think we can just shoot at a guy. Nah, we missed. That was a bad shot, to be honest. Probably should have done a better
Not a
job.
problem for me.
Word of the Emperor. That's just more resolve. Yes.
I serve the ruinous powers.
Abelard, you gotta stop getting hit. That did not kill that one.
I took care of
That
this
did
one.
kill that one. Mort, what do you got? Melting things. That's it. Fight's over. We were there. We were present for the fight.
Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single whoreson survive.
Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture.
Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, huh? Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel.
She looks at... the rogue trader turns her eyes to us and then looks at the box in her hand. All you can hear is a lifeless static. What are your... Actually, what is happening?
From what we have seen, I can speculate that we are dealing with some variety of madness induced by warp travel. Such episodes are not uncommon among voidsmen who have found themselves outside the boundaries of real space, though such episodes seldom spill onto other decks.
The Seneschal is astonishingly calm for someone who just survived a sudden attack.
The casters are not working, or have been sabotaged. Either the warp is toying with us, or someone went to great lengths to cut the ship's communications. I will need a direct channel to the engine seer Prime before I can get a sense of what we are up against. Whatever it may be, keep your weapons at the ready. I imagine it will be some time before we no longer need them.
Theodora clicks her vox a few times. How could there be armed people in the ranks of the crew who would dare attack the Lord Captain?
Trust me, this is hardly surprising for a crew of thousands. The lower decks are a fertile environment for discontent and heresy, no matter how one tries to incinerate any seed before it can take root. All it takes is a hint of warp influence to cloud the minds of normally obedient cattle.
The Seneschal gives us a gloomy look.
Sporadic riots on the lower decks never reach these compartments. No, the tumults of the rabble are always contained within their own territory. This is too well organized. It is spreading too rapidly.
Theodora's anger causes the Seneschal to shrink slightly. The incident with the rampaging servitors may be connected to what's transpiring now.
Possibly. Quite likely. We will investigate at a later time. Right now, we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation.
Theodora winces and flicks the switch on her vox a few times. What are your orders?
Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Arch-Militant requires aid. And be quick about it.
She breaks eye contact with us. Okay. Thank you, I guess. We're gonna head out.
I'll lay
Can we
claim
loot
to the
any
stars.
bodies? It doesn't appear so. They're not highlighted or anything. Let's look around this room. We never really had a chance. There's definitely fighting over here.
None shall stand in my way.
Like our guy is very confident despite being abysmally bad at combat. We are not really close to a level still. Okay. Do we go this way? This is an elevator. I don't think we can take it anywhere. No. Okie dokie. Let's head out. Let's try and do a murder. We can't go that way. These bridges are now up.
New challenge for me?
We must have to go this way. We're seeing some deck enforcers. These are all... I wonder if we can hit these people. No, it doesn't look like we're part of this
I won't
combat.
tolerate weakness.
There's a door here. Oh. I've pushed the door, but apparently things are going on right now. Oh, we got a new person. It's the Master of Whispers, I'm pretty sure.
Thank Providence you are alive and well.
Conrad Voidvir lets out a sigh of relief upon seeing us.
Always on time, eh, Conrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it.
Mort, pull yourself together.
Conrad pointedly looks away from the arch-militant to us.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
The arch-militant looks back to us and pulls out his Vox from his belt and hurriedly reports on the situation.
Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Vox Master is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report!
I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Gellerfield failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only Voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny.
A mutiny against the Emperor's anointed? Execute the traitors, every last one of them.
First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the Navigator's Sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once.
Her expression changes as her eyes flash ominously.
Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons.
Theodora looks at Voidvir.
I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18.
Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately. Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-militant, with me. I must go to my study. And it appears we might encounter heretics along the way.
Eltamar, she glances at us thoughtfully.
If I may, Lord Captain. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Edelthrad back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the House as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Edelthrad's psychic powers.
Voidvir's voice is soft and cautious. Okay, apparently we're going with them.
Then it's settled. Find Edelthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand?
I can't promise that I won't lose our dearest heir somewhere along the way.
Conrad, keep an eye on our spirited guest. You are personally responsible. Mort!
Theodora shakes her head. Alright, we're heading off somewhere. Voidveer gives us a nod.
Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you do not even have proper gear.
You had better not fail me. The Lord Captain made it clear that relying on you is fraught with risk.
I see you have quickly earned Lady Theodora's trust, if she is already sharing her closely guarded secrets with you. But that is no longer relevant.
He pales at our words, but we can't tell if it's because of shame or fury. With a pop and a sharp crackle, something hits you in the abdomen and you're consumed by unbearable gut-wrenching pain. He is stabbing us. He's a traitor. I see how this is going. I promised you a special destiny, Eltamar. It's time to fulfill it. Oh no. Well, we just got stabbed. What a shock, though. A master of whispers. It's always the intelligence people that are, like, betraying us. Oh, we just got kicked. Rude.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful.
Voidveer looks down at us. Voidveer, you two-faced scum. You're the one behind this mayhem.
How perceptive of you. I'll help you with the next insight. I need you here for your blood. You have the option to share it voluntarily, or I will squeeze it out of you myself. We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
Well, we're going to use our psychic powers against Voidveer. You close your eyes and try to focus, and then you feel the touch of something sharp. The Voidveer has somehow sensed a shift in the warp and delivered a preemptive strike. The blade flashes in the dim light, and drops of blood appear on your palm. For a brief moment you feel nauseous, your head is spinning, and then quiet whispers begin to flood your mind. More and more sourceless voices echo each other, drowning out your own thoughts, replacing them with a singular urge: go to the gate, go to the gate, go to the gate. Fight the voice in your head. Get out, I'm not your puppet. The voices in your head giggle and mock your desperate outcry. You feel this intruding influence forcing you to your feet and making you step towards the gate looming in the center of the chamber. Okay, so this is a not real choice. I just have to go with it, I guess. Oops, didn't mean to hit any buttons. In the gateway arch, you see a cogitator with a human likeness built into the front panel. As you approach, the torso twitches slightly. This is a servitor, an obedient automaton, created from the lobotomized human being. Sentinel turns its head to you. One of its eye sockets lighting up with two ember-like irises. We can try to examine the device. We have a chance to do that. You carefully inspect the design of the gate cogitator. What immediately catches your eye is the strange alloy that was used as material for the machine's components, some of which are familiar to you. You suspect this might be some kind of archaeotech relic. The servitor on the gate begins to move. With the screeching and groaning of metal, it leans forward closer to you. Its lower jaw opens with a drawn-out shriek much wider than the jaw of a living human could. The servitor's mouth is filled with sharp metallic fangs that glint in the dim light. The vid screen to the right of you lights up, showing strings of mysterious symbols on a green background. A whisper runs through your consciousness, insisting, demanding sacrifice. The voices that filled your head after Voitier wounded you with his blade did not go away. On the contrary, their source coiled itself in a tight knot somewhere in the depths of your mind. Look for anything that could be used as a weapon. You look around in hopes of finding at least something that could work as a weapon. Your search is in vain. The chamber anteroom is completely empty. and in perfect working condition, and nary a broken panel or protruding piece of rebar in sight. Examine the Sentinel. The servitor looks noticeably different from the ones you are used to. Its skin covering is stitched together with copper thread. It has metal hinges in place of the standard joints. It seems that the creators of the Sentinel did everything to ensure that the service life of this unit would be much longer than that of ordinary automatons. Look back.
Did you forget something? I suggest you hurry.
We do not have a choice. Place our hand in the Sentinel's maw. The Sentinel's jaws clamp around our hand, puncturing our skin and sinking into our flesh. A few dark drops fall into the servitor's throat, and immediately you hear humming as the servo motors start up and the pumps stir into motion. The vidscreen of the cogitator flickers. Several long minutes pass. The Sentinel's jaw remains closed and you're beginning to feel sick. Perhaps if you were to lean against the gate you could catch your breath. Maybe even close your eyes and pretend none of this ever happened.
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance?
You do not understand where this quiet voice is coming from, crackling like static. Is it the Sentinel? The cogitator? Is it a figment of your weary mind? Whatever it is, you can clearly hear every word. Yes, I do require assistance. Pain shoots through your head and subsides just as quickly. It would seem the entity coiled in your consciousness does not have the ability to do you any real harm.
Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
This is gonna be good. At least I'm hoping it will be. Oh, those are turrets. Nice.
Well, there is still another way.
Oh, he's gone. Okay, we definitely murdered some people, and they deserved it, so let's go inside.
Follow my lead.
So we're in a room with a giant scroll. Let's find out what this is. Let it be known that by my will and by the true words of this document, I appoint this person to be the bearer of the warrant of trade. Oh, it went too fast. Never mind, I'll read it all later, if I can.
Escort the child of the house to safety.
Their servo skulls creaking gradually turns into comprehensible words. I need to contact someone, preferably Theodore. Actually, I need a weapon. I'm utterly defenseless.
Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations.
The servo skull goes silent, its relays clicking. Second after second passes, and you realize the servo skull will not answer you. Sorry about that, just had to pause for a brief moment. What madness is happening here? Who are you? Who addresses me?
Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel, standing by.
Are you the Warrant Sentinel?
Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel, designed as a personal escort of the child of the house, and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by.
I need to contact someone, preferably Theodora.
Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection.
Master, restore communication with the navigator's sanctum. I am trying to contact the bridge. If anyone can hear me on this frequency, regroup all available forces and head to the upper decks at once. I repeat, regroup all available forces and head...
In place of the mechanical screeching, the servo skull's vox projects the voice of Theodora von Valencius, distorted and ridden with static, yet still recognizable beyond a doubt.
Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection.
Let's lead me away from here then.
Middle and upper decks. Assuming the probability of safe placement in areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
Okay. Well, it is that. I'm gonna quickly see if we can actually read the thing that came up earlier. A little bit further back. No, it doesn't pop it up. Okay, never mind. Well, we'll just continue on our way. No big deal. Let's leave the room and watch it get sealed up. What's this door thing do? The enormous gates match the importance of the thing they protect. The massive doors are made of heavy metal and look impregnable.
It's about time.
Let's seal the... Actually, was there anything else in here? I don't think so. I think that was it. I'm gonna go really quickly check the room one more time. Nothing to the left, nothing to the right. It's a very cool
None
looking room,
shall
though.
stand in my way.
Like, look at that. That's just really awesome looking. It's also fairly giant. A lot of words written down on that. How are they planning to seal it? It's pretty huge. It's a lot of paper, or whatever it's made out of.
Master, whatever are you doing in the warren chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me, what is the meaning of this?
Seneschal Abelard Worsarian has lost some of his former polish. His forehead is sweating, and one of his sleeves of his coat is torn and soaked through with blood. Nonetheless, despite his heavy breathing, he stands firm and his gaze is demanding, albeit somewhat surprised. He surveys the carnage around him, his brow furrows, and he places a hand on his weapon. Conrad Voidveer is a traitor. When we parted ways on the officer's deck, he stunned me somehow and brought me here.
What?
The Seneschal's eyes widen. He intended to take revenge on Theodora for something, and trying to reach the warrant was somehow part of his plan.
Oh, holy God, Emperor! I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Master, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora.
Abelard clutches his forehead. He looks lost for the briefest of moments, but then quickly finds his resolve again. Why don't we leave matters of etiquette for another time?
Absolutely. With the Lord Captain's permission, I shall give you an hour-long lecture on how making use of proper addresses corresponds to showing due faith in the God Emperor's anointed. For now, however, we have more pressing matters on our hands.
Abelard glowers at us.
You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit with me. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
He examines us critically and hands us a weapon. Alrighty. So to treat injuries, we use a med kit from the other character. Once it's over, wounds are replenished automatically, but injuries remain. They can be healed with a med kit. Okay, easy enough. What injuries do we have, and where does it show those? Old injury, stack 1 of 20. Okay, so it wasn't healed in time,
We are the
and
spearhead
we have
of
to
the
now
Imperium.
fix it, I guess. Did that not work?
Back into the fray.
Attempts to remove 1 old injury.
wound
There
will
we
make a
go.
fine
That wasn't
scar.
close enough, I guess. He didn't want to
I
move closer.
stand in recognition.
Okay, and now we need to put on equipment. So let's take a look at our inventory. We have armored body glove, gives 15 armor. We dodge 40% of average enemy attacks, and reduces the incoming damage of enemies by -10. Okay. Throw that on. We can use a sword or a gun. We'll use the gun. We don't want to be in melee. We do have a Medicaid thing as well.
That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead.
He nods in satisfaction.
The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it all. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the warp and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive.
What exactly has gone wrong with the translation?
I am no helmsman, or God Emperor preserve me navigator. However, I have spent my entire life aboard void ships equipped with warp drives, and I know that portents such as these do not bode well. It could be that the Geller field has faltered. Perhaps the navigator was struck down by warp corruption and is fighting for the last shreds of his humanity as we speak. If we get thrown off course, we will be forever lost in the warp. Naturally, we would likely not have long to live in that scenario. But I will not resign myself to such an outcome just yet.
How did you find me?
You sent me a Vox message. Specifically, a Vox cast on the officer's frequency, which I had the good fortune to receive. You mean to say you did no such thing?
Abelard tilts his head and looks at us with worry. I think the Warren Sentinel might have sent that message. It appeared when I opened the chamber.
Warren Sentinel? The Lord Captain barely ever ventures down to the chamber, and I was at her side only once or twice when she did. And I did not see anything of the sort.
He looks at the servo skull floating next to us.
The Warren Chamber is an ancient and rather sacred mechanism that the ship's tech priests treat with the utmost reverence. I assume that whatever it is that you did, you must have activated certain processes and caused the Sentinel to awaken. But then, why did none of it happen when Lady Theodora did the same?
What can we expect to find in the Navigator's sanctum?
During warp transit, the sanctum is closed to all who are not involved in traversing the Empyrean. And for good reason. For the Navigator to open their third eye and perceive the way, the sanctum must be bathed in the energies of the Immaterium. Only a Navigator can withstand such an ordeal. For the rest of us, any contact with the warp is fraught with perils such as loss of sanity, spontaneous mutations, and death.
Abelard does not bat an eye as he lists the horrors that we're about to face. I heard one of Theodore's Vox casts.
Lady Theodora's. Which one? The last one I received was about the Navigator's sanctum, and that was a good while ago. In any case, let us hope that the Lord Captain is well, and safely in charge of the ship's defense. In the meantime, we must do all we can to prevent the ship from veering off course.
The Navigator's sanctum. Very well. Will you lead the way?
Absolutely. Let us proceed.
To arms, loyal sons and daughters of the God Emperor! Fight the heresy and corruption that threatens to consume our home, and with all your might, destroy those who have dared!
A wave of static suddenly erupts from the servo skull, and you can make out Theodore's words through the noise.
The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
The Seneschal's eyes light up, and he smiles with grim determination. Oh, that's a lot of dudes. Combat begins. Yeah, tactical phase. We can actually move people around, I think. Okay. Let's find some tactical. No, there's really nowhere to go. Okay, well, you are good at melee, so go. How do I move you? Okay, so I can't get all the way to there? Okay, I see it's highlighted. We can't start the battle in melee, I guess. You have to be at least one square away. Fair enough. I'm gonna put you over here on this side, and we'll just kind of fight our way around that way. Bunch of combat abilities, that's fine. We are top of the initiative order. I'm gonna give Word of the Emperor to us, of course. I think we can actually use this on him now.
Purposes.
Level him up. We can also do a pistol burst or just a normal shot. Let's do a normal shot. And it looks like it's gonna hit multiple people. Oh, we hit 2 of the 3. I'll take it. Okay, and yeah. Let's see what happens now. Parry.
I've suffered worse.
3 damage, it's not the worst. We can use charge or other things, of course. Let's see what else he's got. Can he charge through people? He cannot. Let's cleave through these ones.
Victory is it.
Those ones died, and then we can charge other people. Target is too far. Can we move a little bit closer? I guess once we attack, we can't move. So let's charge this guy, I guess.
I'm not interested.
Now he's too close. Well, that's just unfortunate.
I will do my duty.
Next turn, we'll deal with that, I guess. One's coming in. Parry and...
I bring ruin.
Parry and you...
Death to non-believers.
Shot his own people. What a terrible ally. Let's move there. And we're going to do our normal things, of course. We have 2 action points left. These only cost 1, and shooting only costs 1 as well. So let's Word of the Emperor on ourselves. Get that resolve up even more, and just shoot straight through both of those guys. And miss both of them. Great. Alright, let's cleave. Yeah, I know, that's fine. I don't care about that. I just want to do this.
Reduce to dust.
And then this, and then we go there. That. He did not die, unfortunately. Next turn, perhaps. Never mind, he tried to run away, and that was a terrible choice on his part. Did we level up? We did level up. We might be level 2 now. There's a lot of it. You know, let's just collect it all. Is inventory shared? Probably. Do we have like a weight limit carrying capacity? Doesn't look like it. Alright, let's do a level up. Let's see how that works in this game. I've never leveled up a character, so let's find out how this works. So we can pick. We have 1 rank available. Okay, we get to choose a thing. I think I have a note of what we're supposed to take here. We get to choose a skill. I see we're going down the officer tree currently. So we get to choose between commerce and persuasion. I'm going to take commerce. No, let's take persuasion. I think that's a better idea. We're going to increase commerce. And that's it. That's our whole level. Oh, we get a... What's rank available? How do I use my rank? Is that all I did? Okay, I'm good. I did all the things. I'm not really sure how to build these. I guess we should get skills, so it doesn't really matter. We can take athletics, which represents our ability to traverse difficult terrain, or we can do carouse, which resists effects of poisons, stimulators, or alcohol. May give other conversational pass, but let's grab athletics with him, I think. Alright, we're now level 2. Cool. Let's take a look at anything else around here. No? Alright, I think we're going to call it a video here then. We've gained level 2, and we're going to head out into the Navigator's Sanctum in the next video. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care.